Time to go find Aaron. It's Aaron! You made it! Came across in the freezer. Oh, that's a great question. I would. Hello, good morning. We are about an hour away from ticket drop. Looking around at the lines. The Wednesday line seems to be the longest so far. Fierce is close second. Things are getting crazy. We're getting ready. It's cold. Well, let's get some books.
Why'd you stop?
Broke the tote we bought 2 days ago.
No.
It was $30.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
I just think it's whenever they turn.
Oh, you say like you have
Yeah.
Hey. Hi, best friend. There you go. Yay.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Hey, best friend.
What did you like?
I love that Kristen Fire.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you. You want one?
Yeah.
Yay! Low sugar gummies with fiber,
I had to do that
so that,
Monday.
you know, we're out here for a while. We need a little fiber so we don't starve and feel hungry all the time.
Okay.
Here you go. Oh, there you go. Here you go.
Thank you.
Here you and your camera go.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Okay, I'm glad you got one.
Yeah. So we are currently in the middle of the line for the Penguin drop at 2:30, which they just told us they're code words. And so one of the code words are fangirl, space, and tiger. And so as a 17 fan, I feel like the only option is to go up and say Harange, which is tiger, because Hoshi's a tiger. I might have too much K-pop on my brain. Do I have too much K-pop on my brain?
You can never have too much K-pop on your brain.
You literally have K-pop on your brain right now with your Felix hat. Excuse. So let's see if it works out that I get my first choice. Okay, I'm home from YALLFest, so it's time to go through my haul. And This might be my best year yet. First off, I always start with the books I took with me to the event and did not get signed. And there's a little bit more than usual this time around. Most of them being for the same author. I severely underestimated how many people were going to be there to see Elizabeth Lim. So I took 4 books of hers to get signed. They have the post-its in them all ready to go, but the line did not move fast enough on Friday, so that didn't work. Tried again on Saturday, and I spent like 20 minutes in line and didn't even get into the tent. I think we moved maybe 3 feet in like 20 minutes. So I gave up and moved on with my day, so I did not get any of my Elizabeth Lim books signed. I took Spell of the Sinister by Danielle Page to get signed, but that did not happen because she canceled day of due to illness. And Ashley Woodfolk was there, so I sent Louder Than Words with my husband when he was going to do a couple signings, and he forgot that that was on his assignment list and did not get it, so oops. So that's 6 books I took with me and did not get signed. And now for the successful signings. First thing I did on Friday morning, before anything got started, was film an interview with Helena Haywood Henry, and of course she signed my arc of Last Chance Live while we were doing that. I also filmed an interview with Alexander Brown Chang, who wrote By Invitation Only, so we got to talk all about this book and she signed it. I had a ticket to Dustin Tao's signing, and my friend Erin took it over and got my copy of You Found Oliver signed while I was busy doing interviews at Fierce Friday. I filmed an interview with Marissa Meyer while we were at Fierce Friday, and so after that we got to talking and I asked her to sign my book. So I got my arc of The Happy Writer signed, as well as The Escape Game and The House Saphir. Also at Fierce Friday, Melissa De La Cruz was there, so I ran over to her line before we left because I had 2 arcs of hers. And a couple years ago, I got an arc at New York Comic Con, and when I went to get it signed at Fierce Friday, she said it was the first time she'd seen it. So I asked about that for Sibylline, and she had already opened the box of these. So this was not the first time that she saw it, but she did sign it. However, it was the first time she saw Rings of Fate, which is her adult romantasy that is coming out soon. So it was the first time she saw it, the first time she signed it, and so she was like going through it and looking at all the art. I saw Allison Safs trying to sneak away and was like, I'm coming for you after I'm done with this line. And so I did get my copy of A Dark and Drowning Tide signed. I sent my husband over to get my arc of Devious Prey signed. It was at an ice cream shop. I'm sure he got ice cream without me. And on Saturday, I filmed an interview with K.L. Walther, so I got my copies of While We're Young and A First Time for Everything signed. I took my arc from YALLFest of The Good Vampire's Guide to Blood and Boyfriends by Jamie D'Amato. Actually ran into Jamie at a party the night before YALLFest, so that was super fun, and then to go get my book signed on Saturday. Made a quick little run over there to get that done. I took my copy of An Ocean Apart by Jill 2 with me to Charleston and did get it signed. Last year at YALLFest, I got an arc of His Face is the Sun by Michelle. I'm not gonna even bother trying because I know I'm gonna say it wrong. Corpora? I did try. I tried. So I took this with me and my husband did successfully get it signed for me. My husband did get my arc of Afterlife by Gail Foreman signed, and he did do so. However, he did not ask about the mission from Instagram, so then I saw her in line later and asked about it. And I was like, hey, did my husband ask you about the mission? And she's like, you know, he did not. And I don't even think she knows who my husband is or who I was. I don't know, but she gave me her phone number and told me to call, to text her. She called her phone from my phone and told me to text her so that she could give me the book at SmackDown. So I'll get to that momentarily. YALLFest is wild. I was lucky enough to be invited to Saturday Books' launch party, which was celebrating their new adult imprint. And a couple of the authors were there, including Rebecca Ross, so I got my arc of Wild Reverence signed, as well as A River Enchanted. But that was not all the books from Saturday. Saturday had a couple tables full of books for us to grab whatever we wanted. And since Rebecca Ross was there, I did get one of the sprayed-edged final copies of Wild Reverence, and so she signed that. And Rachel Schneider was there, so she signed my copy of Metal Slinger, which they were giving away for us. The other finished copies that I grabbed while I was there are the sprayed-edged edition of Fallen City by Adrienne Young, the sprayed-edged edition of Overdue by Stephanie Perkins, and the sprayed-edged edition paperback of We Met Like This by Casey West. Then they had a table full of ARCs. I was a little bit late, so I missed out on the ARCs of Graceless Heart by Isabel Ibanez, but I did get plenty of other ones, including Stranger Things Have Happened by Casey West, The Divine Gardener's Handbook, or What to Do If Your Girlfriend Accidentally Turns Off the Sun by Eli Snow, and Burnout Summer by Jenna Ramirez. They also had copies of A Darkening Song by Delphine Sedan as well, so I did grab one of these while I was there. However, since I had it at home already, I did give it to people. And there were some audiobook codes for Rebecca Ross and Casey West as well. But they told us to like take more and give them away, so I got another full set of those books to give to my friend Erin, who was driving me around all day and hanging out with my husband while I was at the party without them. Then they told us to get more, and they told us to get more again. So I got a couple other sets to give out to people and kind of barter and trade throughout YALLFest. I left there with like 3 tote bags full of books. It was insane. Plus there were some other little goodies as well. One of the giveaways at the Saturday party was some fuzzy socks, and they kept telling us to take more, so I have 3 different shades of green fuzzy socks. They are very, very soft, so this is gonna be great for the winter. They gave us hats that say good listener for Macmillan Audio. They had a bunch of under eye patches. And Alexis was telling me that they're really good ones, so of course I was like, okay, I'll keep grabbing some then. And then I was like, catch me in the morning wearing them outside the booth, and I think she thought I was kidding. So I emailed her a picture from when it was dark. I got a lemon hair clip for the Casey West book, some Saturday Books stickers, a little pouch that says booked for the weekend with Saturday Books. And of course at the Saturday party, when they're giving us that many books, they gave us a tote bag that says Saturday Books for us to put all of the books in. So thank you to Saturday Books for inviting me to the party.
Like tension. Ashlyn.
Oh my god, me.
You're joking!
Way worth it.
After I spent some time with Saturday Books crew, I went to Tor's Paint the City Red in celebration of Red City with Marie Lou.
Thank you guys so much for being here. This is one of my favorite festivals, so I have been looking forward to seeing you guys tonight for a while. So thank you so much to Craft DIY for hosting this, and to the tour team, thank you guys for hosting this, and to all of you for coming out tonight to celebrate Red City with us. I guess I'll say a few things about Red City. Yeah. So Red City is my adult debut. It's a contemporary fantasy set in an alternate version of LA called Angel City, where alchemy is very real and controlled by these very powerful syndicates who have basically just like taken over the world. And it follows these 2 young people named Sam and Ari who grow up as childhood best friends but then end up getting recruited onto opposite sides of this growing war into opposite syndicates as rival alchemists, and they end up having to face off against each other. Terrible things ensue, and I had a really fun and difficult time writing this book, but I really hope that you all like it. Thank you again for being here. I think we're making something really cool. I think it's coasters. I am a terrible crafter, so I will be on this journey into the unknown with you guys.
Is it even YALLFest if I don't stick my camera in Melanie's face? Or Sabrina? I mean, they kind of told us to do red for Red City, but then they told us to do whatever we wanted and brought out a cart full of paint with other colors, and I'm a redhead. I don't wear a lot of red. But you know what colors I do like? Blue and green and purple. And I forget how this goes, but they do, like I did lay them out so that they connect. So all 4 of my coasters do connect, and got a lot of compliments on them. Do you feel like a celebrity right now? They also did give us a hardcover copy of Red City with the sprayed edges, and Marie did sign it. And now for the signed ARC portion of this haul. Before YALLFest even got started, a lot of the bigger named authors had tickets for signings. So you had to get a ticket ahead of time. They sold out so fast. Some of them were in like 45 seconds and they were gone. But there was a debut among them, and that was Shannon J. Spann. And she was ticketed because they were giving out ARCs of her debut, A Stage Set for Villains, as well as little bookmarks that say, shh, no spoilers. One of the first drops I did in the morning was an aesthetic drop, and so I got a copy of We're a Bad Idea, right, by KL Walther, which got signed when I did my interview with her. And also for KL, they did a 60 ARC drop at her signing on Saturday, and so my husband went and got in that line and got me a copy of The Summer of Second Chances. My friend Leonard was also there. He had won 2 of these books in the QR code entries, so he gave me one of those, and I got that signed and gave it to my friend Erin. Erin made out like a bandit. I had a wristband for Hyperion's event where you made a flower crown and then you got an ARC and got it signed, and that was for The Ruins Beneath Us by Sasha E. Sloan. I did have to leave to go set up for the KL interview, so I left it there, and Lex and Grace got it signed for me, so it goes into the sign pile. Rachel Griffin was also giving out ARCs at her signing line, so she had 30 copies of The Sun and the Star Maker. My husband was very close to that. He was like making sure, he's like, is it worth it for me to stay if it's not quite? And I'm like, if you're close, stay. And he did. And so we ended up getting it. So good job, husband. Got a copy of Young World by my friend Salman Chainani, and it is signed. He handed out 200 signed copies while wearing a jersey, a basketball jersey that said, ask me about Young World. Salman knows how to play this game. And now for the rest of the ARCs. There's so many, guys, there's so many. For one of the giveaways, they gave you a sucker with a colored dot on it, and that colored dot coordinated with a book. So I had an orange dot on my sucker, and that led me to get Meet Me Under the Lights by Cassie Miller, which happened to be the one that I wanted the most out of that giveaway. I got an ARC of Right as Rain by Tashi Buhian. I have no idea how to say this. I need to learn how to say this, but got this ARC from Fierce. I also got a copy of The Last Kiss of Summer by Jessica M. Fellman. This was either Penguin or underlined. I can't remember. I want to say it's Penguin though, and I don't remember which giveaway it was. Over at Epic, they did a giveaway, and I sent my husband. It's really nice to have a husband at these things. It really is. He's very helpful. The Great Disillusionment of Nick and Jay, which is a Great Gatsby vibes retelling. They Call Her Regret by Chanel Desamores. I believe they said this was a code word that my husband and Erin got while I was doing an interview or something. There's Always Next Year by Leah Johnson and Georgia M. Johnson, and this was also from Fierce. A Barista's Guide to Love and Larceny by Carolyn Bonin. Got a copy of Few Blue Skies by Carolina Ixta? I don't know. I don't know how to say these names. I'm so bad. I'm so sorry. This was my second choice for that drop and I'd marked it for my husband to get, but I forgot to tell him that if I wasn't with him to get the first pick to get that. So, oh well, we get what we get and we don't throw a fit. Kendara Blake has been telling me for years about her friend Lish McBride and telling me I needed to read her, so when there was a giveaway for Most Likely to Murder, that was going to be my #1 choice. I got a copy of The Fall of Iris Henley by Jennifer Graham, which according to the back is from one of the co-authors of Veronica Mars. So that's very exciting and gives me very high hope for this book. I'd given my husband 2 tickets for the 11 o'clock hour for him to go pick up while I was doing interviews, and he forgot about them. So he tried to make it up and got me a ticket to a Simon drop, and then someone gave him a ticket for me as well because it was a 2-book drop. And so I went to get them and realized that the reason it was not on the schedule was because I already had both of them. So I got another copy of Aftermath by Tracy Wolff and another copy of Girl of Lore by Melanie Dale, which I got both of these initially at New York Comic Con. They were giving out pins with each book, so since I had 2 tickets, I got 2 pins for Aftermath by Tracy Wolff. I got an ARC of Neil Shusterman's latest, which is Mindworks, and this came out like immediately after YALLFest, so it's already out in the public now. I went into one of the lines with a plan to get something different, but then my friends told me that I had just met the author the night before at the writer meetup, so I had to get that book, and that is We've Hit Turbulence. I forgot to go find her after getting this to get it signed, but oh well. This year Sourcebooks did a lot of their giveaways by QR code, so the QR codes were in the newspaper that goes out before the festival, and so the day of you could scan the QR code and get entered, and then at 1 o'clock they started emailing people if you won. and I was a winner for Flicker State. But then at SmackDown, they were giving out books, and so we ended up with a second copy of Flicker State. Another one of the Sourcebooks QR code wins was Burn the Kingdom Down by Addie Thorley. I believe my husband got this, or he got this somewhere. I did not know until we were in the line to get the afternoon keynote books, and so I grabbed it and didn't realize that he had it. So both of the books we got at afternoon keynote were ones that we'd already gotten during the day. But it's okay, because I can give them away. One of the hot ticketed books in the morning was The Swan's Daughter by Roshni Chokshi. It says a possibly doomed love story. So it sounds really good. She's been very popular for years, so I'm excited to see what this one's all about. Hyperion did not announce their booth schedule, and so it was kind of chaotic when we noticed that people were starting to line up, and so everybody was jumping in line. So one of the times that I jumped in their line, I got In Between Days by Cameron Garrett. And my husband grabbed It Lurks in the Night by Sarah Doss. I just would like it better if they released their schedule in advance, because I like to look up the books ahead of time and know what I'm aiming for, because I don't want to take books from someone else who would want that book. I want the books that I would want, and not to come home, to like grab one willy-nilly and come home and find out that like, I'm probably not going to read this, and I took it from someone who probably would have. So this is why releasing your schedules early is important, publishers. Please play nice with us. Also at the Hyperion booth, I walked by and they were doing a signing with a giveaway, and that was Rihanna Johnson's Giant Leap by Jill 2. One of my writer friends from the Kansas City area was there. She was a guest at YALLFest last year and brought her friend Jen as her +1. And this year Jen was the guest and Sarah was the +1. So I went over to say hi. Jen was in the middle of filming content, so I didn't get to say hi to her right away. But they were also with their publicist, who's Betty Carella's publicist as well, so I've worked with her before. And they pointed out that they had left an ARC laying around for someone to grab, and of course I grabbed it, and that was This Is Not a Test by Courtney Summers. She also gave me a copy of Finding Her Edge by Jen, who was there with the actress who was playing the main character in this adaptation on Netflix, which is coming soon. I can't say anything more than that. I got a read now code for Game Set Match by Jennifer Icapelli, who was Sarah's friend, so this is her next one, as well as a bookmark that says Get Ready to Be Courted. One of the ones I wanted the most of this whole weekend was In Time With You by Kristen Dwyer, and I'm so excited that I got a copy. It was at the same time as the drop for Flirting with Murder by Amanda Soleil, who's also a friend and been on the podcast, so it was a very tough decision between these two. Amanda lives closer, so there's a better chance of me seeing her with that one. And we played a game of Duck Duck Murder.
So you're going to create a duck, and you're going to get to keep said duck, and then you get an arc, of course.
I'm here for the duck.
And I got Gaslit by Megan David Heiser. Actually, I got a different one, and then I traded because like 4 of us got the same one, and then one person in the middle of the group got a different one, and I was like, dibs! Trade me! It worked. We got to keep our little duck. And yes, he has a knife in his hand. Got a copy of The Beast You Let In by Dana Melee, and I believe it came with this sampler because the book is on the cover of Midnight Reads Spring 2026 chapter sampler, so it's got 5 different first chapters in it. First thing in the morning at Fierce, the first few people who were there to get tickets got an arc of Adib Khorram's next one, 1 word, 6 letters. He's another one of my Kansas City friends, so I was very excited to get my hands on this. Another one I got during the romance giveaway that was ticketed because I had my husband with me to get me a second ticket. So that is Someone to Daydream About, which is by Sydney Langford, and it references like boy bands, like One Direction. So therefore, yeah, I was grabbing that. Why are we even questioning? Penguin Teen had a giveaway where there were 3 book options, and they came up and told you we're going on vibes. So it was, you could say Tiger, Fangirl, or Space, and that determined what book you got. I said Tiger, and I got Prodigal Tiger by Samantha Chung, because I knew that Fangirl was Gods and Comics, which is by my friend Kat Cho, and I already have a copy, so I did not need to grab that one. Then there was a code word at 4 o'clock for the Penguin group while we were waiting in line for the other giveaway, so we grabbed a copy of Limelight by Andrew Keenan Bolger. The code word was LaGuardia. And Fierce did their usual buy a book, get an arc promotion at their booth, so I went to go buy The Beast We Bury to get an arc of The Beast We Raise. But they didn't have the copies of The Beast We Bury, so she gave it to me anyway. Apparently that was not the case for other people, and when they went to try to do that, they were told no one had to buy a book in order to get it. So it just became part of the buy a book, get an ARC as a whole promotion. And then my last little book that I got is not a YALLFest official. This is mostly human resources sampler from Grace Vial. She is one of my friends, and her book comes out in the fall of 2026. So she was giving out a very few select samplers. So she gave one to me, and I have a second one to give to Axio soon, because I was like, hey, come with me, and didn't tell her what we were doing, and then was like, hi, here, meet this author that you really love. She said I'm bad for her blood pressure. The other two books that I got at YALLFest, one was The Mission that I mentioned earlier with Gail Forman. When I did meet up with her, she gave me a copy of Just One Day, and this has very specific instructions in it of what I'm supposed to do, and that involves I'm supposed to read the book, underline a favorite passage, write a place I want to visit here on this first page, take pictures, post it on social media, and then give it on to a friend and have them continue the chain. So that's the mission for Just One Day from Gail Forman. So this will not be in my possession for too terribly long. Now we transition from books into swag, but this is both book and swag, so here we go. The team from TikTok was running around talking about book talk. So they were giving out tote bags for TikTok, and in my tote bag was a copy of Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary, which I just recently did the audiobook for and loved, so I'm very excited to have a physical copy in my collection. I could have sworn I had one, but when I was trying to find it for San Diego Comic-Con, I couldn't, so now I for sure have one. It also had some stickers in it, so I got 4 that say plot twist, and then one that says main character moment. I got invited to the Simon Teen Influencer Breakfast, which was at 9 o'clock, which happens to be the same time that everything does their ticket drops. So I had talked to him about, like, are you gonna give out the tickets to your booth drop at the thing for the influencers? And they said, no, go get those before. So I got in the line was really slow, ended up not getting one. And then I had injured my knee the night before. I left for Charleston. So it took me a little longer to get over than I would have liked. So by the time I got to the location, walked over to the location, they were about to pack up. So they did give me the little tote bag that says Brie and Chloe even told me how to say this and I don't remember how to say it. And Leah and Liz and Wes and Peyton. They were out of the book that they were giving out, which is okay because I got it at New York, and that was Beth is Dead. And they gave us these cute little TBR journals. So it has like little my reading goals and some stickers inside. And they had biscuits, so that was really fun to grab some biscuits and then head back, since I got there with 3 minutes left. And in case anybody want to prove, here are the 2 tickets my husband forgot. They were in his little pouch that he got for needy little things, which he then used to carry his tickets and other things. I don't know what this is, but it's Marigold Trading Company. So whatever's inside this, it's wrapped in plastic. It's gonna take too long to open it. As well as a scratch off card for what should you read next. And it looks like he got some something from somebody online about stickers. If you said Penguin pins at certain times throughout the day at the Penguin Teen booth, you got a pack of 2 pins. One says I have no shelf control, and the other says Penguin Teen YALLFest 2025. If you are part of their influencer program, they sent you a code word, and I got another hat that says more books. The number of bookish hats I've gotten this year is very high, especially for someone who doesn't wear that many hats. Also at the keynote, they gave us some bookmarks for Rachel Griffin's book, The Sun and the Star Maker, and these are like sturdy. Someone was there passing out bookmarks for Love YALLFest in Atlanta. I got a pencil pouch from Melissa De La Cruz Studio that says The Life of the Book Party, and this was at the Hyperion booth, which is Disney. One of the giveaways at Wednesday that my husband went to had a tote bag that came with it for Wednesday books. Rebecca Danson Baker came by while we were in line and was like, hey, I wrote a book and here's some bookmarks. And she gave us some fortune cookies. So I did eat my fortune cookie, but it had the fortune, instead of a fortune, it said what your job would be and like what your salary would be, which was really fun. I was a veterinarian for $4 million a year. But she gave us these bookmarks, and I handed her one of my bookmarks as like, trade ya. And she was like, oh, you're Literary Hype Woman. I've heard of you. And I was like, I don't know how to process this, so sorry if I was awkward. A couple other debut authors for 2026 came by while we were in line and handed out their bookmarks. So I've got one for Gwen writes for You're Dead to Me, Reed Walker, as well as a card for All We Hunger For by Anna Mercier. I don't know. At the Maria Lou party, one of the influencers who was also there gave me a little goodie bag for her company, Indie Rose, which has a pen with a highlighter. Very important. A hockey romance bookmark, a sticker from the Library of sticker, book cover for Lucy Score, a romance reader sticker, and a little card that says, Dear Santa, I wanted to let you know I've been a good girl. And some very cute little corner frame bookmarks. So thanks to Nichelle for those. If you're keeping track, that was 50 ARCs and 24 books that I took to get signed. So that's 74. I told my husband that it was not going to be as big of a haul as New York, so I barely kept that promise. Barely. Whoops. Best year I've ever had at YALLFest. Thanks for hanging out with me and watching my YALLFest book haul and vlog. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the Literary Hype YouTube channel if you've not done so already, and share it with a friend. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.